Hollywood writers have reached a tentative deal with the studios and streaming services to bring an end to the months-long strike. Now, that agreement came just 5 days shy of what would have been the longest Hollywood strike in more than 70 years. The Writers Guild of America touting solidarity in an email to members and thanking other union members for their support on the picket lines for the last 146 days. While terms of the deal are not public, the New York Times reported the agreement contains most of what was demanded by the union, including increases in royalty payments for streaming content and guarantees that artificial intelligence will not encroach on writers' credits and compensation.
My phone is blowing up with joy. People thanking each other, people that are so excited that they're going out right now.
Now, even in the writer's strike, if it officially ends, do not expect work on TV and movie sets to instantly resume. Actors remain on strike. It'll take at least up to 6 weeks to get up and running on scripted TV. SAG-AFTRA needs to resolve its own negotiations before new television can be produced. Well, now to the ongoing United Auto Workers strike. The historic job action, which for the first time targeted all of the big 3 U.S. car makers at the same time, stretching into a 10th day. ABC's Melissa Adon has more on the ongoing talks from a picket line in New York.
For the first time in living memory, a sitting president set to join the picket lines. President Biden will meet with striking United Auto Workers in Michigan on Tuesday.
The president, this administration, we are not at the bargaining table, but we are with workers.
Former President Donald Trump, the current Republican frontrunner, will also be in Detroit on Wednesday to give a speech to about 500 auto workers and supporters. But for the many on the picket lines, their visits coming as the union strike against General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler parent company Stellantis drags into a 10th day. The labor union expanding its strike on Friday against GM and Stellantis, but not Ford, with UAW President Shawn Fain saying Ford is coming closer to making a deal than the other two. Overnight, Ford saying in a statement negotiations with the UAW gained ground in some areas, but significant gaps remain. The strike now growing to 38 locations in 20 states.
It's going to not only affect the company and all of us workers that are going to be on $500 a week, but it's also going to affect the consumer. The customer's going to be waiting for car parts to get their cars fixed, and they're going to be sitting.
In a statement, Stellantis says it will continue to bargain in good faith and that they presented a competitive offer, but the union never responded. The union is demanding raises of 40% and better benefits, pointing to CEO pay raises and record profits that the 3 companies have earned in recent years.
It's not fair. It's really corporate greed. They making the money, they can pay us.
As these targeted strikes happen across the country, we could see these direct impacts to car shoppers, even auto repair shops and dealerships as they await those critical parts from suppliers. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Rockland County, New York.
So how much do auto workers make right now? Casey Decker with our National Verify team explains.
UAW! UAW!
United Auto Workers have staged walk-offs at plants for America's big 3 automakers, demanding improved pay and working conditions. One of our viewers had a question about that pay. Edgar said he heard the workers are already making $75 an hour. So let's verify. Do UAW workers get paid $75 an hour? Our sources are the previous contracts between the UAW and each of the automakers, the Chicago Federal Reserve, the UAW, Ford, and Chrysler's parent company Stellantis. The last contracts between the UAW and Ford, GM, and Chrysler were signed in 2019. They say the base wage starts at around $17 an hour for full-time employees at all 3 companies and maxes out at around $32 an hour. Ford says its average wage is roughly $28 an hour. Stellantis says its is just over $30. Workers can earn additional money through things like overtime bonuses and profit sharing, but those are different from wages. We can verify, no, UAW workers do not get paid $75 an hour. The starting demand from the union in the new contract is a 40% raise over the next 4 years, which would come out to about $45 an hour for the highest paid staff. Other demands include a 4-day work week and better job security. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
And if you have something you'd like us to verify, all you have to do is email us verify@WHAS11.com. Thousands of rural Bullitt County residents will have access to high-speed fiber optic internet access later this year, something most have never had in their homes. It comes after the federal government awarded Kentucky more than $1 billion back in June to bring internet access into areas where it's either slow or non-existent. Senator Michael Nemus attended today's groundbreaking, acknowledging the 10th largest county in the state still has dead zones.
If you have a computer and cable that works, doesn't mean much to you, but if you don't, it means a lot to you. It really does. And during COVID, the kids that didn't have that, they struggled. So this is not just the future, this is now.
More than 6,300 homes and businesses will now benefit from this in Bullitt County due to a $6.8 million partnership with the communications and software company Kinetic. The goal is to expand that program with access for everyone in the county by 2026. Right now, JCPS police and LMPD are investigating a shooting after a high school football game last Friday. In a letter sent home to parents, male high school principal Keith Cathy said the shots were fired in the parking lot after the male PRP game. Cathy said luckily no one was injured, and it's not been said if students were involved. The district emphasized no weapons should ever be brought to a school event. A passenger was detained at Louisville's International Airport for breaching security. The incident happened around 6:30 Sunday morning when airport officials say a passenger breached a TSA checkpoint, and that forced them to delay other screenings and departing flights to find that passenger. Security eventually found them on a Southwest flight leaving to Chicago, and that person was detained. The airport said other passengers deplaned and were rescreened before taking off. Airport operations were back to normal around 7:45. Today, Oldham County schools are going red for Jake. Photos taken this morning outside Kenwood Station Elementary showing students and staff in red being welcomed by the South Oldham High School's baseball team. Two things Jake Luxemburger loved: his U of L red and baseball. The fifth grader was killed a little more than a week ago when a car that police were pursuing crashed into his family's SUV at that Crestwood exit on I-71. Oldham County schools posting the outpouring of love has been felt throughout the county. One man saying he even stopped by at a Starbucks off 329 this morning and noticed something that really touched him. The employees there wearing red aprons they normally wear in Christmas for Jake. And Oldham County was not the only community wearing red today. U of L's baseball coach Dan McDonald took to Twitter to show his team's support for him as well.
We know Jake loved Louisville athletics. We know he loved baseball, and we know he loved his friends and his family. So let's all honor Jake today and wear red.
Last Friday, an emotional night for hundreds of people who showed up to see a heartfelt tribute for Jake. The Linden Bananas youth baseball team played their first game without him wearing the number 3 as they took to the field. Well, today, the public has a chance to honor former Kentucky Democratic Governor Burton Jones in Frankfort. He'll lie in state at the Kentucky Capitol Rotunda until 7 o'clock tonight. His family will host a public visitation from 3 to 7. The funeral is tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Forks of the Elkhorn Baptist Church in Midway. Jones served as Kentucky's governor from 1991 to 95. He died last week at the age of 84.